What's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Trev2323, TREV2323. I'm gonna start calling these episodes Bedhead Sunday because I work outside and in the Midwest. It's been horrendous in the weather over here. So I'm gonna start right now already with my first video I'm shooting today is about the breaking pipes in the city of Chicago and Northwest Indiana. A lot of homes have been having broken pipes, and I'm kind of gonna explain a little bit about it. Video 2, I'm going to put a video up later. I'm going to clean my 55-gallon fish tank. I bought this $7 LED light, and I got tons of algae all the time from it. So my wife said, clean out that tank. So here we go with the broken pipe one. Okay, this is my Chicago bungalow from 1910. One of the reasons, I don't know if I'm going to get back there from this way. I had to go around the back way. This is a Chicago bungalow from 1910. These houses were made with no real insulation between the walls, but there's like 18 inches thick of brick. So this brick right here, this brick on the outside and this vortex, I put my temperature gun on this brick itself was -5 degrees. Alright, I'm back here. So this brick being -5 degrees, it was extremely cold. Now I want to show you my fitting that I have for my water outside. Let me move this out the way and get it back here. The fitting that is back there, that is the wrong fitting. If you have one of these on, that's a fitting for a boiler. And what a lot of contractors did when they put those fittings on is they skimped. Of course, this house was built in 1910. I think they said the first polar vortex was in like 1953. So in 1910, they weren't used to -50-degree wind chills. Well, that's one of the places. We're gonna go over a couple that pipes break, because let me explain to you the difference in a boiler fitting and a fitting for the outside spigot for your hose. The boiler fitting, when you close it, the boiler fitting, such as a fitting like this right here, it's just a small pipe that's put onto another pipe. Now this is just a cold water pipe in my basement sink, so I can connect the hose to in the basement. But this right here opens and closes right in here, so it shuts the water off. Right here is where it shuts the water off. Now, sorry about that, it's my washer going. Now, if you get a regular spigot one, I haven't replaced that one yet, which I know I do need to replace. And I'm in my room right here where it goes outside to the basement. So this is how they got around that. Okay, this is the one that goes, this is a pipe that goes outside. They put a shutoff valve on the inside to replace that. So it kind of works the same, but this is a shutoff valve to shut the water off from inside the basement. So if you don't have a shutoff valve or a proper pipe like this, spigot pipe, that's where it can break at, because it freezes. Okay, so this wall right here was 53 degrees. The outside one was -5, and I have 18 inches thick of brick, and this was 53 degrees. Now I'll tell you this, I did not shut this off, so I'm counting my blessings that this one didn't break, because it's only off on the outside. But you do need an inside shutoff valve. But see this, if I guarantee you, if this were plumbed in and cut into the wall, if there was a finished wall like this, and the pipe was that pipe was inside this wall, that pipe would have cracked. So that's one reason why I don't have finished walls in my basement, in the Chicago basement, is how everything was plumbed in. Now you could get a regular spigot pipe, and it looks like the same shutoff valve, but it's about a foot long, or about 16 inches long. You can buy them in different lengths, and when you shut off the one for the hose, or a regular hose, a real one, a proper one, when you shut that valve off on the outside, it goes all the way to the inside of the pipe, and it actually shuts the water off from inside of the house. But they're a little bit more expensive, but not that expensive. To a boiler valve you could pick up for $5, and one of those you probably pick up for $25. And they're longer, they screw in just like everything else, like a regular pipe, but when you close it on the outside, the actual shutoff for the pipe is all the way on the inside, and the boiler valve are smaller, so when you shut off the boiler valve, that's where it shuts the water off. So what happens is, if that's the only shutoff, you're actually shutting the water off on the outside of the house. So people actually want their whole basements finished and redone, and they put all these walls up and they insulate the pipes inside of the walls. Well, those pipes are getting a lot colder than, like it says, this wall was 53 degrees with the polar vortex, -5 on the outside. So I'm going to show you a bathroom that I built. You're going to hear the washer again over here. But, well, let me show you here first. A bathroom in my basement that I built. And you go open it up and you turn it on. And it is a bathroom I built in my basement. And it doesn't look anywhere out of place or out of the ordinary. But let me show you how I built my bathroom. Because I know this is an older Chicago bungalow. I'm going to shut this washer off real fast so you can hear me better. I actually built the wall about 1.5 feet away. This is the bathroom wall, the outside right here. I built it 1.5 feet away from the wall, and I reran the pipes off of the wall. So the pipes are the room temperature and not the wall temperature. And the same thing with the pipes going. This was the original drain in the house that's a bad run, and it would get plugged up all the time. So I put the pipe straight down, but the pipes don't go into the wall. You see, they go into the floor because the pipes are still in the room. Now that was built that far away. It's all drywalled on the inside, but these pipes right here are all inside of the house. And this is the cold water that we leave running, because the water underground coming from the city is 55 degrees. So it's already not at freezing point. So when you have your pipe closed off and you have your pipes inside the wall with insulation, they start to freeze because it's not coming through. It's not running that 55 degrees through the pipe. It stopped. So that's why it freezes most of the time overnight, because during the day you're turning your water on and off, and it lets that 55 degree water from the underground from the city kind of warm up your pipes up to 55 degrees around. But during the polar vortex, that whole line gets colder, so if you shut your pipes overnight, none of that warm water gets through and they freeze. So one is, I had a lady I know, she's renting, and last year her pipe in the wall froze in the basement by the laundry area, and it busted in the wall. So the landlord paid to have all the drywall, everything ripped out. They replaced it with copper pipe in the wall again, and then insulated it and then drywalled it. And then she told me again, this past polar vortex, the same pipe broke. And it's copper pipe, type blue copper. That's what I prefer to use for water pipes. She asked me, what if they go with PVC? I said, the PVC will crack before that. I said, the problem is they're running it in the wall, and that's in the basement, and it's colder. So if this was 53 degrees, and say I insulate this wall right here at 53 degrees, well, I got a little bit foil insulation on that side of the wall, and it was 64 degrees, so it was 10 degrees difference. But the actual wall then itself will be cooler because there's no heat getting to it, if it kind of makes sense. If I insulate this and I put drywall and thick insulation, the wall will be warmer, but the inside of the wall, closer to the wall, is going to be cooler, and that's where your pipes are. So let me show you how I did my kitchen. Now we just had the kitchen redone. Those are clean dishes, those ain't dirty dishes. So we just had the kitchen redone. And one of the things that I had them do in the kitchen, let me turn my lights on before you can see my lights. It's Valentine's Day, so we got the red lights underneath here. Okay, but one thing we did in the kitchen is these walls right here. One thing I regret is I didn't want to take 2 inches off our kitchen. It would have been 2 inches off this way, but we would have insulated the whole wall. The contractor would have insulated the whole wall if I took those 2 inches off the wall. But I says I didn't want my kitchen to look smaller. Now, these walls with the glass, there's drywall, and then this right here, in the polar vortex, this glass was about 56 degrees. In the polar vortex, outside was -55. So I wish we would have bumped it out two inches across the whole thing and put the insulation. But I'm talking about frozen pipes. So one thing I did tell the contractor when he was putting everything in here is he wanted to stub the water lines in from the wall to make a cleaner look. There would have been 2 holes in the wall, and then the pipes would have came out right here. Now those are the pipes that I got in there, and I put those in. Well, actually, yeah, I put both of those in. One of them I reran with galvanized because I didn't want the headache of going all the way back with copper, and the other one I did with copper because I already had a pipe that I had to replace. So why those are in there is because they are actually in my basement. Those were the ones in the laundry room coming through the floor away from the wall. So like I said, in the polar vortex, that outside wall was -5. This one was 56. The basement was 53 in the polar vortex because these are older Chicago bungalows. There's no really insulation. So if you're running those pipes in the walls, you got to realize that outside brick made it to -5. So one thing, if you are, now we're up here, if you have, because it is possible to leave the downstairs unthawed and the upstairs could still freeze and you can still get a broken pipe, because I know of another person that happened to on the second floor. We told them just to let their water trickle on the second floor. So all you do is you let your water just barely trickle, just barely trickle. Even less than that if you want, as long as there's water coming through there. And what happened was the bottom floor froze where the other people, other tenants then, and the second floor didn't freeze because the bottom floor didn't leave the water trickle and the second floor left the water trickle. So if your pipes are in the wall, say like in the basement, my pipes, if we did stub this one and we put it into the wall in the kitchen, we would have had to let this water run in order for this pipe not to freeze. Now this is the outside wall where our sink is on the outside wall. There's a difference now on the inside wall. Like this right here is facing the bathroom. That right there is facing the outside. So that pipe, if that were in the wall, would get colder than this pipe right here that's not in the wall. But even if I would put that pipe in here, I was still insulated with regular insulation, not spray foam insulation in the wall. And that one right there, I just would not run in the wall because that is an outside wall. Now here's another thing with these old Chicago bungalows. Now if you guys, I'll show you the bathroom also, because the bathroom, I just changed the cabinet. This is our next project to update. I just changed the cabinet. Oh, shut that off. I gotta. Now these are coming from the wall. These pipes are actually coming from the wall. See? They're actually in the wall. But this is an inside wall. This wall right here is on the other side of this wall is the kitchen. One other thing about these Chicago bungalows is, many of you may not know that, I don't know who came up with these plans, but are the ceilings in these Chicago bungalows. These ceilings, there's a 12-foot joist in here. Let me get this way so you can see. There's 12-foot joist in here, and these ceilings are go to the outside soffits, all the way to the outside soffits, and they breathe. So with these ceilings, they get really cold. And I'm against spray foam. I do not like the use of spray foam. They found spray foam with termite nests in it and everything down the road that they had to scrape everything out instead of just taking the insulation out and fixing the problem. There have been water damage with spray foam, that the spray foam just absorbs the water and mold builds in, so I'm against it. But in between these joists right in here in the ceiling, I would really think about drilling holes between these joists and putting slow rise spray foam in each one of these joists all the length of the house. Therefore, the spray foam would fill up a cavity a foot high by hopefully a foot either way, and the soffit will still breathe with the ceiling, but my ceilings, my rafters won't get that cold. Either way, so if you're in the Chicago area, and I know people want that very nice look of their finished basement and their pipes in the wall, or you do have to realize, if with this polar vortex coming, there were so much broken pipes, and a lot of people have that nice, sleek, clean finish of the pipes in the basement walls. Well, this isn't the time to do it because them pipes will break. All my pipes are kind of away from the wall. That's the other side of the bathroom. There's the pipes going in right there. The bathroom was actually made from the wall. I figured this is my basement. If I put it 2 feet away, the wall 2 feet away, you can't even tell it's kind of 2 feet in. So 2 inches in the kitchen wouldn't have been bad. Either way, so with the broken pipes, make sure you got the right spigot for the outside. that even if you got a boiler fitting, it'll be okay if you put a shutoff on the inside to shut it off during the winter. So between your wall and the outside, that spigot right there, the metal was probably minus 13, the brick was minus 5, the metal was probably minus 13, because that's the metal on our gate opener was minus 13. But the inside of the basement was 53, so went from 53 to minus 13 like that fast. But the 53 was able to not break that pipe, which I do have to use that shutoff. I do have to use that shutoff. But if not, this summer I'll show you, I'm going to put a regular one on there that when you shut it off, it actually shuts the water off from the inside of the house just by turning the spigot like that. If you, your regular pipes that are inside of an outside wall, that are built inside of the outside wall, you have to let them run. You have to let them drip. This way they continuously flow the water of the outside temperature from underground. Also, I was talking to somebody who actually has a bathroom in the basement with the pipes in the wall, and they said that it gets so cold down there underneath that cabinet that they put a little heater on low with the cabinet doors open, with the heater on low in there to keep that pipe in the wall from busting. Because once you block it off overnight, it's inside a really -5 wall. It'll be inside that wall and it'll freeze backwards. So just try to keep the pipes flowing with the outside temperature, and try to not have them stuck in that wall or built in that wall, because if they are built in that outside wall, you do have to let them run. Either way, I hope it gives you a little bit of insight, and just stay tuned for future videos. Bye bye.